This is the solution to the Tethys platform About Page coding exercise, and it's based on a tutorial that can be found in the Tethys platform documentation by the same name, and it's part of the Google Earth Engine Part 2 series of tutorials. In this tutorial, we'll be adding an About page with information about our website and some images. We're going to use Bootstrap layouts with a fixed container instead of a fluid container, and it's a little more complex than our home page, but very much similar exercise. So the first thing we should do is create the template, controller, and URL map for our new About page. Let's start with the template. I'll go ahead and create a new file, and I'll call it about.html. And I'm going to add the contents from the tutorial. Basically, we're overriding the navigation up front. We're adding our no-nav CSS file that we created for the home page so that we get that nice styling without the nav. And then we're just adding a placeholder block for our content that says this is the About page so that we know when we get there. So that's our template. Let's go and add the controller. It is another simple controller like our home controller. It just renders the Earth Engine about.html file, and there's not much in the context. Finally, we need to wire this up to a URL. So I'll go to app.py, open up the URL map function, and I'm going to add it right here after the home controller. Be sure to add a comma there. Okay, and it's going to be at the URL earthengine/about, and it's pointing at that About controller. So let's go ahead and go take a look. I'll navigate to the app, and then I'll manually enter the /about URL. And there we go. This is the About page. Notice our header is formatted correctly and the padding's removed because we used that no-nav CSS, the same one we made for the home page. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some header buttons to the page to allow us to navigate back to the home page, and another header button to allow us to navigate to the home page. Now, we already added a home header button to the viewer view, and we can just reuse that. In fact, what we're going to do is go to the viewer.html, and we're going to cut that header buttons block out and instead move it to the base HTML file. Okay, so I'm just going to add it up here so that now every page that inherits from this base template will get that header button, which should include our About page. Let's take a look. There we go. So we basically get the home button for free. If I go back home, the home button's here, which is a little less than useful, but we can live with it for the convenience because when we go to the viewer page, it's still there and still functioning. Now we'll add another button that will allow us to navigate to the About page from any page in the app. So I'll go back to base.html, and in that header buttons block, I'll add a second button, this one going to the About page. Notice that I'm using the URL function in the href, and I'm giving it the namespace name of the URL map. So if you look at the URL map, it's called About. And then when we reference it, we use the Earth Engine, or the name of the app, :about to reference it. And that will automatically look up the URL and place it there in our href for our link. Excellent. So now we have navigation, and we should be able to get to our About page. Yep, home, and from the viewer, yep, there it is. So I can get to the About page from any page in the app.